Hall 39, jacking, 911 hang up, west, Mason Marville, Columbia.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
There we go.
Warren County primary one unit, primary one there, restricted for primary.
Turn that off. Hello.
Hola.
We are all.
What's with the blue light?
Oh, you don't like blue? Would you prefer red?
No, I
Google.
was just curious.
Family room lights red.
Got it. Changing 2 lights to red.
Oh, I like the orange. That's
Yeah.
kind of a pumpkin flavor.
It looks very orange.
I think because of the walls.
Yeah. Okay, Google, turn family room lights white.
Sure. Changing 2 lights to white.
What do you think? Turn them off?
I like the orange.
Yeah. Okay, Google, turn family room lights orange.
Sure. Changing 2 lights to orange.
That
looks white.
They
That
they
is
little
not-
pink.
I think the color's a bit off on a couple of things, the camera and the lights. Those are $12 a piece, those lights.
Who made them?
Oh, I have to go get the box.
Oh, of course.
eBay made them.
eBay made them. I got a new toy.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And I paid $55 for it.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was a deal. Says the sound doesn't work. I don't really know if I care. But apparently, well, it didn't come with the power supply for $55. And so I spent another $8 on a power supply. That the tablet arrived before the power supply. So now I can't even try the stupid thing out. But it's got a weird, I don't know what this is. And you won't be able to see it. There's some sort of weird card slot in it.
Looks like a floppy disk.
It does look like a floppy disk, but it's not. It's too small. It is way too small. That is the same spot where the SSD drive is. So the card slot isn't connected to the SSD controller, but I don't know what the heck it is. I don't know if that's like a smart card reader or one of those old
PCMCIA.
No, it's too small for PCMCIA. It's more like a credit card size. They had
Could be
those.
that, a CAC card reader.
Yeah.
I've never seen one with an eject button.
I've never seen one with a door that that
Have to work on.
That door is so I don't know. I mean, I've seen them built into keyboards and stuff before. They're like security things where you pull them out and take them with you so no one else can use your computer. But that would seem pointless in this if it's locked behind a thing that's hard to get out.
No, because they're used for authentication. It can be used to provide credentials to connect to RDP or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, it's got I I took off covers to find out what all it had in it. GPS, 2 cameras, a front and a back camera. But one of these cameras, I'm pretty sure it's a barcode scanner. Because I'm pretty sure that's what this thing was for. But if I want additional options, I take the GPS out and I can remove it's a module. It slides out and you slide a new Geely Bob in there. It seems kind of weird to me, but so it basically other serial ports, like that weird little serial connector on your laptop.
Mhm.
I could pull this module out and pop one of those modules in. Uh-oh, we lost Art. And they make an actual real serial port and they make an Ethernet port for it. But it seems like it's all serial devices that plug into there.
Universal serial devices.
Universal serial devices. And it's got a full-size HDMI, headphone and microphone jack, and I think it's a USB 3. One single USB 3 port, which I guess that's all you need. But those are the ports that aren't replaceable by anything. It's got it. It doesn't quite have as much stuff as yours does built into it, but I think it's an older model too. I think it's at least a generation ahead of yours, or behind yours. Yours is newer, and yours is also a Dell and mine's a Panasonic, but
I
same
use mine for doing remote desktop, so doesn't matter.
Yeah. Big, huge battery, like 9600 milliamp hour battery.
Mhm.
I mean, a huge battery. 256 gig SSD is behind this thing. And according to the listing, it's got 8 gigs of RAM.
So Jim, if we can see that, we knew that. Ah,
Quenchen Wi-Fi bulb.
It's in the dance to the music mode now. You notice the colors changing. So we're very festive at the moment. It's a party. I bring you a party. What do you guys think?
I like it.
I think it may refer to our state of nerddom here. Our
Here.
king.
Check this one out, Jim. That's the one I own.
Ah. This one is 1600 lumens.
Yeah. It's more like a floodlight, isn't it?
But it's adjustable. You can change the Kelvin, degrees Kelvin, and brightness too. So probably yours does that too.
I don't know if I can. I can change the something. and make it a little different, but it's not a bad bulb. I've had one of them go bad on me. And I mean at the price that I paid for them, I just tossed it. I was like, but they're ESP32s. No, they're ESP8266s are inside of those bulbs. Keep the cost way down on them. But I can tell Google to change the color. The grandkid, when she was little, that's all she did was she would lay in bed and tell it to change colors of the computer room. And she would hear Papel going, ah, my color changed. Ah. Thought that was great fun.
Hey, Art, did you get some rain?
We did in Milford, not in California,
Oh,
not in Northern California. Southern California got a pretty good dose, but Northern California certainly did not.
so y'all must not be from Southern California then.
No, that's about twice the distance it is from where you are in Chicago. California is a big state, and they have multiple microclimates.
We got 1.85 inches of rain over here this morning.
It rained pretty hard for a little while this morning.
Yeah, my Milford rain gauge said it was 0.94 of an inch.
Heard the fire and ambulance calls, bunch of trees down, bunch of power lines down. And I don't know. It just seemed like rain to me. What do I know?
Well, they must have had some wind, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe some older trees. I don't really know.
On my way into work, they were talking about Southern Ohio had a whole bunch of people without power.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that
What
group,
area was it, Steve?
just southeastern Ohio or southwestern.
Southwest, yeah. I don't know what ours was mostly about trees down. Couple of power lines. And there was a power line over somebody's house that turned out not to be a power line. It turned out to be the cable line. So
Well, that actually was fortunate.
people don't know when they call and say they just see a line down and they think, oh, it's the power line. There's dozens of lines up there that do all kinds of stuff.
I like underground lines myself.
Yeah. The city right next to us, they are working moving probably 99% of their lines underground, but it's taking them forever to do it. So
Well, it's a tough job.
yeah, I'm not blaming them. I mean, it is, you've got all these lines up in the air and you gotta carefully move people down and whatever, but
They using one of those ditch witches to drill it underground.
they're going vertical. And it's kind of fun to watch them, but they hit a couple of spots and they have to dig up the road or whatever. There's a few spots where they can't use that tool, and they're not moving. There's some they're not high tension lines, but there's definitely some high power lines that run through there. And it doesn't look like they're moving those. It looks like they're leaving those alone and they're moving just the residential lines down. So I'm not real sure what the ultimate goal is, but I know it's partially to get rid of overhead stuff. Yeah. And here in the complex that I live in, our power lines have been underground for as long as I can remember. So somebody many years ago had thought about it when they built this complex. But the power lines that feed us are still up in the air. So we could still potentially lose power because something could happen out on the street.
Well, I think that ditch witch drill thing can only be used for relatively low voltage. They came through when they put fiber in our area there in Milford, and they used a drill technique. But the only thing that was going in those conduits, it's these orange conduits that are what, 3-4 inches in diameter. And the only thing that was going in them was fiber.
Yeah.
So
what they're drilling out, it's probably bigger than that. It's good 7-8 inch pipe, and it's color is it? Yeah, I think it's like an off gray color.
hmm.
We won! Yes!
Okay.
What did we win?
Powerball, 490,000 looks like.
They are running parallel lines too. It looks like they're also running fiber because they've got the orange coming out of the ground too. So they're
The fiber conduit is typically orange and it's corrugated on the surface. I guess you call it corrugated. Basically, it's changes diameter by about 1/2 inch at the bumps.
Yeah.
But they came in and put that in throughout. Now, this is a relatively new development. It was put in starting in about 2000, I don't know, 4 or 5, something like that. So they put everything else underground at that time, but they didn't put fiber in at that time because AT&T apparently wasn't ready to put fiber in.
Right.
So when they put fiber in, they drilled those horizontal lines using those ditch witches, and they so that was the only service they put in after the original development was laid out. Everything else was trenched and stuff was laid in there, and so, but they ran the ditch witch right on the property owner's side of the sidewalk. So they didn't try to run it between the sidewalk and the street. They ran it on the other side of the sidewalk. And I haven't signed up for fiber yet, so I'm still using Spectrum cable stuff.
More likely to hit a tree between the sidewalk and the road. A lot of municipalities plant there. Also,
Uh,
that's the municipalities right away, and they'd have to pay more.
Spectrum raised their price on me again.
I'm shocked.
Ah,
Oh, I checked out T-Mobile home internet cable, and it's not available. Well, actually, they offer me 4G, but it's limited to 100 gig.
yeah. Yeah. I had checked with T-Mobile a while ago, and it said it was available. And then when I just checked today, it says it's not available. And I was like,
Yeah, they said it was available for us, but it said, but come quickly, there are limited number of connections.
that's what it said when I checked,
Yeah,
that there was a limited number of connections.
yeah,
And now it says it's not available.
yeah.
But
Get it now. Next week it'll be more expensive. It's a classic, pitch for
Well, that-
sales,
I'm not 100% convinced that this 5G thing is going to be good, but cost wise, T-Mobile is cheap. $50 for their service. That's cheap.
AT&T has announced also, but their target is 55.
Yeah.
It looks AT&T is notorious. It's 55 plus tax, and they like to charge for devices too. So I don't trust those guys.
Yeah. Well, I think the pitch on T-Mobile said you lock in the 55 price for life. So
Yeah,
I guess
AT&T is like Spectrum. Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
lock in for 100 milliseconds. Yeah.
well,
right,
I
exactly.
suppose they could change what life means, but
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I like if we could just get it.
life is 2 days.
It depends on if you're president or not. Yeah.
But yeah, basically I looked at Verizon, which Verizon is outrageously priced, and T-Mobile, AT&T, which isn't in the area, but they say they're coming to the area, and Spectrum. And I was like, I'm stuck with Spectrum. I'm still stuck with them.
Yeah, me too. We're still stuck.
Well, when I first bought the house there in Milford, and I went down specifically to AT&T and said, okay, when are you going to put in fiber? Oh, well, real soon now. And 5 years later, the truck showed up.
Well, soon is relative, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's if you look at it from a kind of a glacial point of view.
Yeah. Well, 5 years in the grand scheme of the planet, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But on the other hand, beefing about that, I think back to, say, the mid 90s, where we're trying to get, you know, dial up to go to 56K or whatever. And I think, things are not so bad.
Going, oh, look, there's two different 56K standards, and my internet provider provides the slower of the two.
Yeah.
I had two 56K lines. I was humming along at what was it? There was a specific connection that gave you two lines.
It's
I
like
keep
a-
thinking,
That's not the T1, is it?
no, I keep thinking PRI, but
It was
that's
like
not
it was
right.
like DSL, but
Hmm.
it's not DSL.
Yeah, but we were living in an apartment. Actually, we were living in an apartment about half a mile from where I live now, and had two phone lines side by side, and one of them had telephones on it, one of them didn't. Stayed connected for days at a time on a Linux box, and if nobody was using the telephone, it'd dial out on the second line. I was downloading MP3s like mad.
Your
Is it-
audio kind of cut
I
out
was
a
going
bit.
to say, is it me or is it
Yeah,
the audio got strange
sorry.
there?
It
Is that better?
yeah,
1, 2,
Yes, it
3.
is.
it's kind of waving. It's kind of
Weird.
weird, yeah. Maybe you've got what do they call that? The auto thingy to turn
You're
the
not
mic
talking
gain
about
down.
QoS.
The mic gain, the auto mic gain thing.
Oh,
I
okay.
do, but I wouldn't think that would make that much difference.
I need Leroy or somebody to explain something to me to convert this to English.
Okay.
What the heck does that mean? A GNU radio SDR implementation of LoRa transceiver. Art, can you help us with this?
Um, Leroy's the expert on LoRa.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I'm the expert, but
Well, you're the one that did those experiments where
Yeah.
you were driving around in your car and so forth and so on.
yeah. I mean, I know, I understand LoRa, sort of, more or
So
less.
there looks like they're using LoRa over with the SDR.
Well, I mean, that's possible because, I mean, the SDR should be able to receive the LoRa frequencies. No problem. What is this?
I think they're using GNU radio with
GNU radio?
LoRa transceivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the matter with GNU?
Nothing.
Okay.
GNU.
What's the matter with GNU? There's a link to it. They have a Adafruit hardware. They say it's apparently it's not because LoRa is licensed. They're saying don't use it on a commercial product till they get LoRa licensed using some of their devices. But it might be interesting reading for somebody, not me.
It all, I don't know, maybe I'm reading something into this. Almost kind of sounds like they reversed engineered it,
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
which it was already kind of a semi-open standard anyway. So
LoRa is a licensed protocol, apparently.
yeah. Well, technically speaking, there's only like a couple of companies in the world that are allowed to make LoRa boards. So maybe what they've done is reverse engineered it enough to fake it. So that an actual real LoRa board can receive it and doesn't care. I'm not sure. Yeah. Trying to reverse engineer the LoRa standard. That's what they're doing. They're trying to reverse engineer it so they can bring it to other hardware manufacturers. I know there's been a couple of SDR projects that will receive LoRa and display the LoRa content. But maybe what they're doing is actually working on how it transmits.
You know, that would extend their distance apparently with LoRa, huh? That'd be cool. My hummingbird feeder is lonesome right now. They backed off on me.
Too hot. They don't want food.
I thought I lost a camera this morning. Gail said one of the pumps for the pool tripped. It made, hopefully my camera's okay. Hopefully the pump's okay.
I spent a little time, I worked a little bit on the TV robot project thingy-mabob. Played around a little. So this is still using the microphone input off the ESP32. So you can't hear it. I can hear it, but as it talks, it makes the circle grow. I don't know if I like that or not. And then this is hooked up directly. You can see the cable right there behind the. So it's using just an analog pin on the ESP32. And you can see it's I actually put the noise in there because I didn't want it to just be a solid line. So I made it have noise. And I played around with that a little bit to try to get it but you can see that device that I've got it plugged into makes more of a square wave than a sine wave. So it doesn't quite look right. So it's very square wavy. So I ended up this is the final, when it finally decides to talk. So I took and I inverted it. It's one side is normal and one side's inverted. And but that's directly connected, so no more microphone, so we could talk around it, and when it talks, it'll make its little fake sine wave that's not really a sine wave. It's still, those are still square waves, but they're closer together and one's upside down, so it kind of looks like a sine wave. And that was about as far as I got on it. My next step is going to be pump the audio out of pump the audio back into the TV so we could actually hear what it's saying. But I ran into an interesting issue with these little M5 devices. For whatever reason, they absolutely did not like reading the analog signal coming in. So I ended up using a different ESP32, and this is
Be something a little different, but on the site, but I thought, no, it was interesting.
this is a audio jack that goes up into the Movi device, and that comes into an amplifier, and the amplifier goes into pin 34 on the ESP32, and then I'm using the RCA jack device and got it plugged into pin 26 on the ESP32, and all that seems to work. So there's one device that amplifies the audio and displays it out onto the TV. And then that's what it's connected to right there, the Movi, that thing right there, which is sitting on top of an Uno, and it's playing Battleship, or at least it's supposed to be playing Battleship. Right now it's just talking. And there's a better picture of it. And then underneath this, there's the servo driver, another battery, an ESP32 hooked up to the servos. And that is, there's the eyes and the camera. And what I have found with it is if there are more than one person, it gets very, very confused, and it just kind of flops all over the place. So one person is fine, but I've got pictures of the grandkids, and if I move over so far and it sees a picture of the grandkid, it'll lock onto the grandkid and it won't follow me anymore. It'll just sit there and stare at her. So It gets very confused when there's more than one person. That's about all I know.
Guys, I'm gonna have to excuse myself. Barbara's gonna take me to the doctor. I've got to get this UTI thing, get the med for it and so forth.
Mm,
So I will see you next week.
All right, Eric.
Take,
Good
Have a
take
luck.
good
care.
trip.
Hope you get that cured.
yep. Hopefully you
Yeah,
get better.
It is uncomfortable. Let me
Yeah.
put it.
Tell
So,
Barbara not to hot rod the car. Man.
well, yeah, she doesn't need any encouragement to do that. I just get in the right-hand seat and hang on.
Hang on and pray, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, take care. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
night.
Dun dun dun. See, it's still kind of a square wave.
It looks like it isn't connecting your samples.
Yeah, you know, the microphone was pretty fast. I mean, it would go really, really fast, but the analog input seems like it's a little bit slower. It's Vicente.
Hi.
Greetings.
So,
One out, one in.
And Vicente missed the.
who was out?
Art just left. He's got to go to the bathroom.
Okay. I was trying to go into the meeting, but Windows decided to update something. So I had to wait.
As Windows does.
Yeah. How is going your project, Leroy?
Well, once again, Mr. Vicente, you showed up a little late.
I know.
I
I saw
did-
something of the audio shape. Yeah.
I did make a few changes from where I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, okay. Now it's symmetrical.
yeah, it's still kind of a square wave though. It's better than it was, and I think that'll work. But that Movi device, seems like it doesn't have a whole lot of inflection to its voice or anything. It's pretty monotone. So it's more or less a square wave.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. There's a little bit of a high points and low points, but there's not a whole lot of change. It's either talking or it's
Yeah.
not.
Saturate the value.
Yeah. So what I ended up doing was I took one side of the code, and then where I had it going up to another point and then coming back down, I flipped it. I just said negative. So it's looks
Okay,
like
looks okay, okay. Cheating.
yeah, I couldn't think of anything else to do with it. I couldn't think of any other way to make it. I mean, I tried a couple of other ideas. Here. They've already seen this, but
Yeah.
that's I couldn't get the two to line up correctly. So I just said the heck with it and you know, did it a cheaty way. I cheated.
Okay.
But that's what I was trying to do, was make it look like that. And you know, I added the noise to it because if it goes down to it's basically 0 volts when it's not talking.
Mhm.
There's no kind of indication that it's doing anything. And I was afraid that if it doesn't talk for a long period of time, it might burn a line in the screen. So I added some noise into it so that it got a little bit of fluctuation in there. Looks like it's actually doing something when it's not doing anything at all. But that's where I'm at. I gotta figure out how to get power to everything. And I've got to pipe the audio, split the audio out so that I can run it back into the TV so we could hear what it's actually saying. Because right now you can't hear anything. You can just see it talking, so you don't really know what's going on.
Okay.
That's pretty much where I'm at right now. I think I've made some decent progress, but it's not done.
And you have the eyes in the glasses?
So
It's your first.
So I got to get power to them. I don't know if it's going to be better to hook a battery up to it, or if it's just going to be better to power that off of a USB. But I hot glued the servo down to the TV, and I will put another plate on the backside with the Moby. In fact, that's probably a better picture.
What you did with my TV? There is
Yeah.
glue over
I glued it
all over.
all, but it's
This
hot
is
glue.
hot glue.
It'll come right off. Hot glue will come right off.
Oh
We
my
just got to
God.
heat that up. I didn't really think you were all that worried. I'm probably going to super glue or hot glue another one back here. But
Yeah.
that's the Moby.
Mhm.
So that needs 12 volts. That needs 5 volts. That needs power, but it's got the batteries.
You are
And
connecting.
then the other ESP32 only has USB power. So I'm probably just going to have to stick like a USB hub up here or something and power everything.
Will be nice.
So, but And then tidy up all the wires and everything, because there's wires.
How
And
old is the Mavi board? 10 years?
yeah, I think it's got a 2013 date on it. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it might have. Where is it?
It performs text to speech, right?
And recognition.
Recognition. Supposedly.
Twenty fifteen.
Okay.
So almost. This is the final board that I'm using. There's just wires everywhere. But the M5 stuff did not like reading the analog input at all. At all. And even this one says that what I'm doing is really low voltage, but it's working, and that's all I care about. I mean, the highest voltage I saw on the serial terminal was 1.2 volts, which I suppose is good.
Now, about the maximum voltage for the ESP32 analog is how much? 1 volt? 0.9 or something?
0.9 or something, yeah.
So you are saturating everything.
Yeah. I mean, I only saw the 1.2 volts once or maybe twice.
Maybe you need a capacitor in series to avoid the DC level.
I have a voltage divider in there.
Mhm.
So with just the voltage without the amplifier in there, I could barely get it to read anything. I mean, you could just barely, it would just barely register that something was there. So I put the amp on it, and things, I beat my head against the wall because I was like, I don't really want to use an amp because it's so low voltage.
But the problem may be the DC level of the amplifier. Your DC level is about the range of the ESP32.
Yeah,
It's strange.
I don't know. I just know when I finally decided that I needed the amplifier, stuff started working, but the M5 stuff, it didn't care. It just refused to work. So whatever M5 did, they've put protection on it or something so you can't destroy it. Or it just doesn't want to read that low of a voltage. But I'm like, it's an analog. That's got an analog microphone in it and no amplifier. And I don't know why this works so well and this works so bad. So they're basically the same.
No, but the other one is a microphone. I2S is a digital one.
No, it's on pin 34. It's not an I2S microphone.
In the other one. This one is an I2S.
This one is yes, maybe. Yes, I think so.
I2S.
But But this one's an analog microphone, just on pin 34. And I ended up having to connect the Movi through the amplifier, through the voltage divider to pin 34 before it decided to do anything at all. So it's been fun.
You are using
Maybe that the
Arduino.
the microphone itself has an amplifier in it.
According to their schematic,
maybe.
it doesn't, but
Hmm.
I guess their schematic doesn't really mean much.
Well, you
Well-
can change the range of the analog input in the Arduino code, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you keep it as before, or you change it?
10 bit analog.
No, I mean the voltage, the reference,
Oh, yes, it's 3.5, 3.3.
3.3. Okay, this is the range, the input range.
Yep.
Hmm.
I know. It's been an adventure. I have adventures.
I had trouble with the analog input of the ESP32 some weeks ago, but I can't remember which project I was on. When I remember, I tell you.
There was I went and I read the ADC that's on the ESP32 is not great. And there's like 3 or 4 different ADCs, and they've got it split across 4 or 5 different pins. And
Mhm.
you've got to match what you're doing with the pin, and some of the ESP32s don't have the proper pin, or that pin's not exposed correctly or whatever. So ADC on the ESP32 is an adventure
Yeah.
all on
yes.
its own, which is probably why M5 Stack made that other module that's a ADC
Okay.
I2C over ADC, which is really, really slow. I mean, it's incredibly slow,
Yeah.
and it's definitely too slow to
For audio.
read voice or sound well. So, I just had to, I made it work. I don't know if I made it work right. I don't know if it's the right way, but it's working. And if I blow up this this other ESP32, I guess, I'll be sad. But so far I haven't seen any voltages that look like it should be bad, and they don't last very long. It's like boom, it's there. So I think the pins can handle the 1.2 volts for the millisecond that it's there, and then it drops back down to almost nothing. But if it stops working one day, I'll know that I blew up the ADC.
Oopsies.
Oops.
You use a DC voltage, you can see the value. I mean, put a divider, for example, 10K and 10K from 3.3 volts to ground, and see if you see the DC level in the middle of the conversion.
That's my
Uh-huh.
that's my voltage divider.
And what values do you have there? 10K and 10K, or
7.5 and 3.5
K?
K.
Mhm. And you see a DC level that correspond with this divider or not? When you see the DC level proportional to the divider?
It seems like it. Yeah, it's 30K and 7.5K is
Mhm.
what it is.
Maybe you need a capacitor in series with your audio signal, because you are moving the DC level with your amplifier. So you need to detach your audio signal
Mhm.
in DC using a capacitor in series with
Okay.
with the cable, maybe a 0.1 or 0.2 microfarads, a tiny capacitor, just to detach your amplifier from the DC level.
Okay. I could do that. That would
Yeah.
be easy enough to do.
Try that.
Yeah. This is just a jumbled mess of wires right now, though. So that's the amp. That's the voltage divider. That's just the thing to get the input. There's the RCA jack that only needs to be connected to ground and pin 26, and it works just fine. I gotta tidy all that up. That's
Yeah.
Is there a VREF pin on there that maybe it's floating up to 5 volts or something?
Supposedly you can choose by software the reference voltage
Hmm,
in the
okay.
SP32. You can choose an internal reference.
Yeah.
And
I have
there's a pin also, right, to put your reference outside.
this particular one does not have a 5 volt. It's only 3.3 volt.
Mhm.
But it does have VCC, which coming off the USB would be 5 volt. And I am using 5 volts on the amplifier because when I connected that to 3.3 volts, it was hardly anything at all. So I am using 5 volts on the amp. I don't see anything else.
So the amp goes out with 2.5 volts as a DC. I mean, there is no capacitor in series.
Yeah. So I don't really know what all this connected to. Resistor. There are a couple of capacitors. There's a coupling capacitor. There's a couple of coupling capacitors on the output side,
Okay.
but I don't see a couple. Those might be coupling capacitors. They're pretty far down the. It won't hurt to add another capacitor if it does something weird. I'll just take that capacitor back off.
This is strange. If you
There's
already have them.
this little amplifier. It's a L3 386 amp, and it's already got all the components on it, so you don't have to build it. But it also doesn't really say what the capacitors are or what they're doing.
Let me check the LM 336.
386, yeah.
386. This is an Arduino module, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, they have 100 microfarads in the output. Oh, but this is. Mm, and you have a potentiometer, right, to adjust the gain
Mm-hmm.
in the board.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I have the schematic here in my screen. I think it's this one.
That's the one I found. Yep. That is, yeah, no, almost. That's almost the same board.
Yeah.
I've got one more resistor up by R1. There's another resistor.
In the output?
No. CR1.
Mm,
I've got an R3, R1, and C1 right there, right in line. And R1 looks like it's well, R1 is a 0 ohm.
yeah, here is 0.
But if you look back at that picture of the actual board,
This is not in the board.
it's very, very similar. But see those two holes right there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have those two holes.
Yeah. Let
Two
me
holes.
check.
I mean that board is so close.
Maybe I am in the wrong one. Let me check this.
It's almost like that board is extended out a little bit. It's like a bigger board. Everything else looks the same though. Weird. Weird.
This board is to be connected to a speaker in the output. Mm,
Yeah, it's an audio amplifier.
yeah, but you need to a load, a very low impedance load in the output of the amplifier, because the capacitor is huge. So almost all the energy goes through the capacitor. It's like there
Okay.
is nothing there.
Okay.
Mm, I don't
That's
like this.
that's probably why it took so long to get a
I don't like this amplifier connected to a ESP32.
okay.
No, I don't like that.
Do you have a better amp to use then?
Mm,
Because I will get it if there's a better amp to use. This is just the amp that I've got 5 or 6 of these amps.
but I think you don't need an amp. You don't need it. You need to adjust your offset to have your signal in the middle, and then you have like 12 bits of resolution. You can do whatever you want. You don't need amplifier.
So
You can use 8 bits of the 12.
So you think if I just take the input directly, the input
Yeah.
off of this thing,
Yes, with a capacitor, always with a capacitor.
Put a
in
capacitor
series,
in there.
in series, yeah, and to your divider.
Okay.
And your divider will be a good idea to have just both resistors the same value and connect the divider to the reference. So your input is always in the middle of your scale of your analog to digital converter.
Okay.
10K, 0.1 microfarad to your board, your audio board, whatever. Too much stuff between them.
Okay.
We can do that together in another moment by using WhatsApp and just changing drawings and anything else. Yeah.
Okay. I get, yeah. I tried it without the amplifier. I just could not get it to work. But I didn't have a capacitor on there.
Maybe
So,
an offset problem, or usually it's an offset problem.
yeah. I didn't have a capacitor in it, so I just that's just I was just having fun with it. Why isn't it working? I also did not spend I didn't build any of the parts. I opened up my box of stuff and pulled stuff out that I already had. That's what they'll look like when they finally turn on.
This is Adafruit stuff.
Yep. Adafruit and DigiKey apparently made that. It says DigiKey on the back side of it.
I think that your glasses will look better upside down,
Oh,
more like this robot. I don't remember the name. The garbage robot.
yeah, I got to work on the code for this battleship program too. It's not quite right.
Wally, you put your glasses upside down, the glasses, they look more like Wally, the robot, because the eyes will be brown in the top
Yeah.
instead of pointing up.
Well, I already super glued it on the other, or I already glued it the other way around. Yeah, I'll heat the hot glue up and get it off of there.
And the cable will come from the bottom instead of from the top.
It might be better with the cable coming from the bottom anyway, because it's going to be on the servo moving.
Mhm.
So that was going to be my next challenge, was getting like a little clip or something so that the cable can have a strain or take a strain as it moving around. But it only moves small. It doesn't move fast.
Okay.
Unless it sees two people, and then it gets confused.
Oh my God.
So
You have a bunch of problems ahead.
yeah, I'm making progress. Sort of. Sort of making progress. This was supposed to be simple. It was supposed to be, you know, what I say? There's like 5 microcontrollers in here now,
My God.
which is, I think, 3 more than what the original project had. Ah. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think there's like 5 microcontrollers now.
Crazy. How far is the art bathroom?
Art,
He was headed to the doctor's.
Okay.
yeah. The
This is the space station, international.
Yeah.
No. Looks like International Space Station.
that having a cap in there might get rid of some of that too, right? There's
Mm,
weird little,
I don't know what is that?
you don't notice it when it's on the screen. You only notice it when you zoom in, but
Really strange.
it's like the little wavy.
Well, those are pixels in basic, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe there is one on and one off. Alternate, I don't know.
It doesn't really look like that with the noise, though. The noise looks all right. The artificial noise. It's weird. Yeah, it is just how the pixels are aligned on the screen. Make it look weird
Yeah.
close up.
This is the alternate lines of the screen.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, oh, that's because I closed the screen sharing window. That's why it stopped. So you got anything new, Mr. Vicente?
I was working just software in my computer ruler. Do a lot of stuff. I'm working with direct port control, you know, and there is a problem with the 80 mega microcontrollers that when you change the direction of the port, you must wait several clock cycles before read, because there is they call meta stability problem in the microcontroller. It's really weird. And I have this kind of problem all around my code, because I am changing the values and the direction of the ports quickly. So finally, I get rid of that, but it was very strange problem. I found an article explaining the problem. Arduino doesn't have the problem because the Arduino instructions are very slow to change your port direction using pin. I don't remember the instruction, but the instruction is huge. When you see the assembler code, it's a lot of instructions. But I'm just making it instantly in assembler. And depending on your change, you need to wait several clock cycles to have normal behavior. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on until I found the article explaining that and how to solve it. So now it's working.
It's like one of the old ESP cores for the Arduino. If you enabled serial and you didn't have a delay of at least a couple of seconds, serial never ever got engaged.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of old code that will say serial begin with some number and then delay to 2000.
The problem with my code is that the problem is statistical. I mean, it means that sometimes happen, sometimes don't. So you do a change, and the problem disappear, but it's random. So I say, okay, I did it, and several iteration later, the problem appears again.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So that's
and now I have a couple of projects that I stopped because I never understood what's going on. Now I know.
Yeah.
I know what to do to solve the problem. I just call a delay from Arduino code. 1 microsecond delay is enough to make everything stabilize and working okay now. So I need to do that in other projects also.
That's like the old board core for the ESP32 was like that. You had to call a delay to get stuff to stabilize. And if you didn't call the delay, then you'd sit there and scratch your head why the serial port wasn't working.
Are you using the last ESP32, the S3?
For this project? No.
Because this is the new one. I think it's better than everything else.
Yeah. So I am. I've got quite a few.
Well, your new module from M5 Stack is S3. I think.
Yeah, but I haven't really used it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
And these round displays, these are C3s. C.
Yeah, but C, I don't like them because they don't have Bluetooth. They don't have. They have several. What? Yeah, new eyes.
There's a lot of people that don't like the C3s, but you know, I haven't really found anything real wrong with them.
They are slow. They are. I
They
don't
are
know.
slow. They
Yeah.
are slow.
I don't know. I tried them and found a lot of things that I don't like, so I stopped using them.
That's I think that's why everybody switched from C3 to S3
They don't
because
have. They
the
don't
S3
have.
is better.
They don't have I2S bus. You know,
Yeah.
I use it a lot for my microphones. So
Yeah.
I detach my project from those boards.
So the C3, I think the C3 isn't it a RISC processor?
Yes, it's a different,
Yeah, it's a different
core.
different core. It does have Bluetooth though.
It's cheaper supposedly, but you are paying the cheapness.
Yeah, I mean it's I think it's only got one core in it. I think that's the
Yes,
big
maybe, yeah.
problem. The biggest difference. But I've noticed with these, the Adafruit library for the display library is incredibly slow on this thing. But the LVG something library is really, really fast on it. So different libraries are optimized for different things, apparently.
Adafruit has a library that is compatible with everything, but sometimes you have to sacrifice speed.
Yeah. Adafruits was the first one that I got to work correctly, but it was slow. And the other one, it took me forever to actually get it to work. But I mean, it's like that. I'm like, maybe it's worth screwing around with. But M5 Stack is getting ready to come out with a round display, but I think they're basing it on the S3, not the C3. So it should be better.
Yeah, great.
But these were cheap. I actually think when I bought them, they were $6, but when I showed them to Steve, they were 12.
What is the box, the case? It's just a puck on the plastic thing?
Yeah.
You can use it as a watch or?
Yeah. No, there's actually nothing around it to hook anything to it. You'd have to like 3D print something to stick it in.
Okay.
But the case didn't cost anything extra. And I figured it would protect the display a little bit.
Yeah. Looks nice.
But like I'm pretty sure I paid like $6 or $7 a piece for these. And then when I showed them to Steve, they were like $12.
Still haven't ordered one.
And well, you may not want to if you don't really like the C3.
I never played with one.
This one here doesn't have a microprocessor at all. It no microcontroller, so you can hook it up any way you want.
Just the screen.
It's just a round screen. I know that those were cheap. Those were a few bucks a piece. This one's got a touch screen to it though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it works pretty well. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm not so upset that it's got a C3 in it. It's just it is what it is. And I don't think if I had a choice, I don't think I would go and buy a C3, just a bare board C3, but since that's what this came with, that's what I'm going to use. I mean,
yeah.
According to Mouser, it does have I2S,
Does?
according to Mouser, it does. But I think its biggest drawback is it's a RISC chip and it's only a single core.
Single core.
Ultra low power, single core. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's its biggest failure is you need that extra core.
But people don't use the extra core. Usually, you never care about that.
But you remember they did announce one that I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't supposed to have Bluetooth in it. And I said, I never use Bluetooth anyway, so what do I care if it doesn't have it? And I don't think they ever came out with it. I think they announced it and then they changed gears and came out with something else.
C3.
I don't see where it says what the actual speed is. Oh, 160 megahertz. There it is. That's the maximum clock speed is 160 megahertz.
Uh-huh.
So the only other thing this it uses one of those stupid quick connector things that you can't see.
You love them.
It's starting to get dark in here. It's got one of those stupid quick connectors
Yeah.
that
We're
None
talking
of-
about C3.
do what?
C3, ESP32,
Yeah.
C3.
C3.
Yeah, they have the Bluetooth low energy, Bluetooth 5, Bluetooth mesh.
Yeah.
They have the I2S, I2C, SPI, everything.
I
Yeah,
think
the,
it's
the, the difference is the processor, I just said.
yeah.
Because a single core, 160 megahertz.
And it's a RISC processor, a RISC
Yeah.
V
Yeah.
instead of whatever. So it's
Stensa are the ESP32 processors.
mhm.
It's 5. And RISC-V is an open source architecture, so it's cheaper. So they are using it because it's really cheap.
Yeah, but
It can compete.
if people don't like them, they've got to switch to something else,
Well,
like the S series. The
no,
S.
there are a lot of applications that they can sell them because they are cheap.
Well, I'm sure that's why whoever made this, they took one of these and they put a C3 in there and went, oh, okay, that cost us $1.50. We'll sell it for $7 and make money.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
let's see. It was the S2 that I don't think had Bluetooth built into it.
The S2 and the C2, they also have the C2, right? Yes. 3 means everything, so.
The S2 had, I don't think it had, I'm looking. I think it was a single core too.
Mm,
And it had, but it had cryptographic hardware on board. So different use case. I don't know if they ever actually made the S2s. I think I've got an S2 pre-manufacturer board, but I don't know if they actually ever made them.
they call their models ESP86, 84.
86, 84.
Yes, this is the code for their C2 models.
Oh, okay.
I am in the Expressive webpage.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's different. Seems like I had a long time ago, I had an 86 something board. Did you see that new robot? That new
the C2 is a RISC-V processor also, but 120 megahertz, slower.
Oh, okay, slow.
Yeah.
Why do we want them to be slower? We don't want them to be slower.
No I2S.
So that's the one you were thinking of that didn't have the I2S.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a waste of good silicon. Gotta have the
This
I2S.
is a highly integrated device. You know, the crystal is inside the capsule, the dice. They claim that is really cheap, really low cost. Bluetooth low energy and Bluetooth 5 in the C2. I remember I tried Bluetooth, standard Bluetooth, and it's not supported in the Arduino environment for the C2. That was when I was making the wireless MicroPython.
Mm-hmm.
You know, using Bluetooth with C2, it doesn't work.
Oh,
I had to change to ESP32. I don't remember. Room 32, a big one.
yeah. I think the S3s are pretty much going to dominate for a while anyway.
Yes, I think it's there. The most popular. I think the S3 has USB controller inside. You don't need an
Right.
external chip to connect USB. Just directly to the two pins in the microcontroller. You have USB.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Almost everything that I've bought lately has had an S3 in it. So I just haven't used them. I just haven't messed with them yet. I've got them. Uh, 240 megahertz. Let's see. It's got all your typical stuff. Have you guys seen this new Apollo robot?
Which one?
Nope.
The ones that Jim put the link? No. Okay. From who?
Apollo. He moves a little stiff.
No brain.
No brain.
55 pounds. Wow.
Swappable batteries.
Yeah, runtime 4 hours. I think we will see a lot of those in the next years.
Yeah.
There are several companies doing the same,
They
including Tesla, right?
yes. They're I watched the interview with I guess it was the CEO of this company or something, and he talked about Atlas, and Atlas has hydraulics.
Mhm.
So Atlas moves with hydraulic motion, and this is using all
Electrical
electric.
actuators. Atlas is heavy and expensive.
Yeah. He was talking price wise, he wanted this to be the cost of a car.
Okay.
So slightly different market, I guess, because Atlas is big, heavy, and has hydraulics, and this would be smaller, lighter. It looked like it weighed about the same as a human.
Yeah, but once they have the algorithms, they can change the actuators quickly. You know, if they see a market, Boston Robotics can make a robot changing the actuators.
What is this?
That's a dog robot. It's about $3,000.
Light 3. Wow.
Oh,
Says it can run for about 5 miles.
for $3,000, huh?
Better than me.
Yeah, there's a link in the chat if you're interested.
Yeah, I saw it. Interesting.
And there he goes. Here, Spot. Bye,
Spoon.
Spot.
There's going to be a lot of those too.
Mhm.
It was less than $5,000. They were promoting it for them, but you know how that goes.
But here,
Okay.
here you go. 1,600 bucks.
This is cheaper than a car.
Wow.
1,600 bucks.
We should get two of them.
Wow.
I actually told Patty if we get an income tax check, I want one of these.
Oh my God. It
This thing
works.
looks awesome.
Yeah.
There's a video of it somewhere actually walking up and down the stairs on its head. Maybe this is the video.
Look at that.
Looks a little terrifying with that spinning mouth thing.
Mm. The LiDAR looks weird.
Yeah.
Turning like a mouth. Okay.
You know, it'd be my luck that I could never get it to actually do any of that stuff.
Real-time mapping.
Dun, 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 dun. Go.
My dog.
Your dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what we need. One of those on the back.
Yeah. This is the future.
The future. There he is. There he is walking down the steps on his head.
Oh my God.
Completely impractical, but that's just awesome.
Yeah. Well, it can lose a couple of legs and still move.
Yeah,
Still follow you, try to kill you.
If it's
only
really
two legs.
$1,600, it's cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cheap enough. That beats your $3,000 robot dog there, Jim.
And
Yeah, you beat me bad there.
will be cheaper when they produce in huge amounts.
You got a cheaper dog, but I got dancing lights over here.
Let's all say hi to Barry because Barry showed up. Hi, Barry. Even
Hey,
though
Barry, looking good, Barry.
we
Hi,
can't see
guys.
Barry.
Hey, Barry, I saw something that reminded me of you. They have a new TV show. It's fast police chases. Okay. And they were chasing this car around and he was kicking their butts. They're like 2 or 3 rollovers of the SUVs they were chasing him with. And you know what kind of car he was driving?
A modded Prius.
It was a Prius. And I got thinking about it. Well, it's heavy and it's about the center of gravity is about 2 inches off the ground. And they're trying to turn it over with an SUV, push it off the road with an SUV. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
They couldn't.
they had a lot of trouble with Priuses when they, I don't know, a couple of years after they came out was because they accelerate so much faster than most cruisers.
Yeah,
If they get them on a windy road, they just leave them in the dust.
yeah. And they come up behind them and try to pit maneuver them. Guess what? Nada. They can't do it. They end up flipping over the SUVs. It's not funny. They flipped over 3 or 4 of them, seriously. And they chase this guy all over the place. I said, Barry needs to know about that. Man. I figure that's why Barry's got this Prius, so they can't pit him.
Yeah.
And they were serious about getting him. I'll tell you why they were so serious about getting him. He had a Bobo when he hit some road spikes. He tried to miss some road spikes and took one of the cops out.
Mhm.
So they were kind of very interested in chatting with him.
I would suspect.
They finally did get him. He was going the wrong way down the interstate, and he decides he better turn around. And when he turned around, one of the SUVs crossed the interstate from the other side and T-boned him. And that was the only way they got him to stop. Darn Prius drivers, they're maniacs. You muted, Barry, if you're trying to talk to us.
I don't know. Have you ever seen the BMW guys? They don't even know how to use their car.
For their signals.
Well, this guy with the Prius, he was a good driver too. He just beat him into the dust. Oh, yeah. Ever heard of Lee Majors?
Lee Majors, the $6 million man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Gail's got me. I went in the kitchen and ran into the bionic hearing aid. Lee Majors digital rechargeable bionic hearing aid. I don't know what she's saying. Is that an implant or something? I don't know. So that's not looking good around here, guys.
That should be the Jamie Summers hearing aid. Lee just had the eye.
Oh. Let's see, they had a, now Lee Majors was married to another gal, that's right. Farrah Fawcett, that's right.
They can rebuild him. They can make him stronger, faster,
Better.
better. All
So
for
next
$6
week-
million bucks.
Yeah, next week, if you see me with a big bandage on my ear, you'll know what happened, yeah.
Mhm. Speaking of next week,
We're one more,
one more virtual.
yep.
That's what I thought. So
Don't know if anybody in this group cares, but the Ohio Linux Fest is coming up soon. I bought tickets and forgot when it is. let's see.
Soon.
Yeah, it's like the 8th of next month.
When
So-
is the Windows Festival?
That's a reinstall fest, and that's just continuous.
That's
The
every
reboot-
day.
Reboot Fest, yeah.
Every
Up-
time
up-
you see something blue, it reminds you of the Windows Fest.
That's the update and wait festival.
It is Friday the 8th and Saturday the 9th.
And I would like to go to a Linux festival at least once in my life, but Patty already has she's already got stuff for me to do. That's
It's 2 hours away.
yeah, well, it's not even that it's in Columbus. It's just she's got stuff for me to do. She's always got stuff for me to do. I don't mind that it's in Columbus. It's, what did you say the tickets were? They sounded like they were really reasonable.
If you're just going, I think it's $10 if you pick up a ticket there, and
Yeah.
you'll get that much in swag probably. If you want to take any of the classes or anything, it's anywhere from 200 to 750.
Yeah. See, just going sounds like a really reasonable.
And if you're lucky, or however you want to look at it, you might run into William Shatner sometime.
Oh yeah.
I did.
$20, I think. Registration. Walk-ins will be limited, and enthusiast pass will be doubled in price to $20. So if you buy the ticket online, you get it cheaper.
Yeah.
That's usually how stuff works.
Um,
So $20 is reasonable. I mean, there's some festivals that you go to and it's like $20 a day.
Yeah. My middle kid got to go to Black Hat. I was jealous.
Yeah, Black Hat gives away a crazy amount of free stuff.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see what swag he got yet, but I will soon.
It's kind of funny because it's like the same guy does Black Hat, does DEF CON, and Black Hat, they give you everything for free. At DEF CON, they want, like $50 for everything.
Well, I think Black Hat costs a little more to go to.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's kind of funny the night and day difference between the convention floor. Yeah, all the booths are handing everything out, and at the one and the other one they don't hand out squat.
I'll have to see if I can get sponsored for that sometime.
See if your job can send you.
Yep.
You need it for work, boss. I need to know stuff.
Training.
Oh, the training's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. Well, it's about that time, guys.
It is.
Okay,
Patty says there's food for me. So that's always the key indicator, right? There's
Yeah.
food.
What do we need with food?
I don't know. Next week we're virtual, so
It's true. Okay.
hopefully we'll see everybody next week.
See
Bring
you
the
all.
dance lights. Okay,
Oh, okay.
bye.
Bye.